If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Snoochie Boochies, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, where today we are celebrating Mallrats in honor of Easter. Who doesn't want to punch an Easter bunny? Lauren definitely does, as she let Brian O'Halloran, our very good friend Brian O'Halloran at that, aka suitor number 3, know from Mallrats. We are talking about Mallrats. It turns 30 this year. Yes, the 1995 film debuted in October of 1995, Kevin Smith's second film, and it was actually the first one in color. So we will dive into that in just a second. No news, no notes, no fluff. We're going to get into it. But first things first, search Hops Geek News on any podcasting platform, any social media platform. Come hang out with us on the socials. Come hang out with us on Patreon, where we are going to be watching the Beaster Bunny on Sunday night of the 27th. I believe it is. Patreon movie nights we like to do monthly. We were going to do Mallrats, but Stacy, one of our patrons, found an even better movie, a B-rated awful movie that I think we're going to watch instead. So patreon.com/HopsGeekNews if you want to support the show. Social medias where you can find us. My beer of the week, one of like the only non-Treehouse beers I have right now. It's Pacific Mischief by Tripping Animals, which I did get to go to their Oakland Avenue, I believe it was called, a location in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I didn't get this from there, though. I just happened to have it, funny enough. I love this movie. We'll talk about it in a second. Lauren, I know... Oh, God. Okay, your thing says that kid is back on the escalator again, and I need to tell a quick story, because while we were on the Disney cruise, Carrie and I, you know us, we don't mind kids. We got kids, right? But we were in the 18-plus area, and there were kids that kept coming in the pool.
No, that's not okay. Oh.
So I was like, Carrie, I feel as though I am in Mallrats, and I was like, that kid is back on the escalator again, because I was like, that kid is back in the pool again. And we were so like, get these kids out of here. We're trying
to. When I have to walk through that area with my kids, because sometimes you can walk through, but you can hang out. I tell my kids, I'm like, you don't talk, you don't look at anybody, you just walk directly through there.
No, there were kids trying to get in the pool that they had.
That's BS.
They kicked him out. Like it was this, like they did. But initially there was so much going on when we first got on the boat. We went right to the pool because you can't go to your room. That I was basically, Carrie, that kid is back in the pool again. And God, I love this movie. What are you drinking first and foremost before we dive into this movie?
Funny enough, I'm drinking a Treehouse. I do have an invasive species on deck that I had that is more appropriate for this. So once I finish this, because we multi-recorded tonight, and I'm a slow drinker, and so I am almost done with this. Not really.
It's funny. This is.
I'll let you know when I open the next one, because it's going to be relevant.
3-in-1, man. All right, 3-in-1.
I did dump it in my Vader glass though, because Kevin Smith or Silent Bob is trying to do the Force.
I forgot my Roosevelt's Jay and Silent Bob shirt. I'm just not repping the brand tonight.
I switched to Wolverine because Jay does a whole scene about Berserker Rage.
Dude, you did the wardrobe changes. Usually I'm the wardrobe change one. You did. I'm really proud of you. I'm slacking. We didn't record for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and this is what happens. But this film stars Jeremy London, who actually, fun fact, in Pensacon 2015, Carrie bumped into while him and his wife were in this crowded room meeting the Black Power Ranger, and him and his wife were walking. They're pushing the stroller with their infant. Carrie, we're 6 feet plus, both of us, and it was a very crowded room. She bumped into the stroller. His wife was super chill. Jeremy London hated Carrie. He wanted to
Notice
punch
he's
her in the
not in
face.
any of the other movies like everybody
I
else
heard he's
is.
an a-hole, but he does have a twin brother.
I can't imagine that Kevin Smith would continue to work with somebody who was an a-hole.
Very true. This also stars Jason Lee, the late Shannon Doherty, Ben Affleck, the late Stan Lee, obviously Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes are in this. Michael Rooker is in this, aka Mary Poppins. Joey, Lauren Adams, and many more. This is written and directed by the one and only Kevin Smith. This is actually the first Kevin Smith film that I personally ever watched. When I was a teenager, we would get into my friend's garage, and this was the movie that was our entire personality when I was 14 years old. We quoted it, "Fly, fat ass, fly." My other friend, coincidentally named Matt, he would walk around, Snoogans, Snoochie Boochies. That was his thing. And we just lived for this movie. The chocolate covered pretzels with Michael Rooker. This whole movie is nothing short of fantastic. So before we get into the plot, when did you first watch this movie? Because like I said, I was but a wee lad.
So it's funny, you actually met my friend Brandy this weekend.
I did.
For the very first time. So Brandy and I are the ones who watched all these together. So I watched Clerks first. So we were best friends dating best friends in high school. And they forced us to watch Clerks. And Nick, her boyfriend, had the Blunt Man and Chronic poster on the wall. And we didn't know who that was. And so when Ben and Nick made us watch this Clerks, and I've said this on the podcast before, we're like, why the f*** are you making us watch a black and white movie? And they're like, no, it's going to get better. Da, 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 da. So then we watched all of them, Mallrats and Chasing Amy. And by the time Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back came out, we had broken up with them, but we went to the movie together and saw Jay and Silent Bob. But Mallrats was always like our favorite because it was the most, I guess, relevant to us. We were teenage girls in the late 90s, early 2000s who, as soon as we got our paycheck, because we worked together at the daycare, and we would play NSYNC's Just Got Paid, and we would go to the mall and spend all our money. So yeah, we would, you would hang out at the mall and people would meet you at the mall and you would do dumb crap at the mall.
Let's go to the mall.
Oh my God, Brielle's watching How I Met Your Mother, and she
have been too.
The This is her
Sparkles?
first time.
Oh,
it was the Robin Sparkles episode, and it's also when they established the slap bet those are the same episode.
Yes,
and so when it started, I looked at Brielle, I'm like, oh, you're
because it was Barney thought she was doing porn, and it was
yes. But Brielle has heard the Let's Go to the Mall song because it's on Just Dance for We. Oh. And she's heard us sing it. So then when it came on, I'm like kind of looking at her and she's like, this is really from this? So yeah, so that was fun.
It is.
But yeah, so Mallrats, we both loved Mallrats right away. But what's really funny is the first time I watched it, I knew nothing about Marvel. I knew nothing about Star Wars. The only Star Wars I had watched was A New Hope that my mom forced me to watch when I was 13. I had never seen, X-Men hadn't come out. I knew nothing. Wow. Sure, I probably knew who Spider-Man was. And I knew Superman and Batman because
the basics. I mean, the ones that everybody kind of knows. Yeah.
But there was no mainstream Marvel movies. I was not watching cartoons. And so rewatching it later in life, I've rewatched it Mallrats a bunch of times, but I get so much more of the jokes and it's so cool. And the Stan Lee thing. And then I remember when Stan Lee's reading the script and Captain Marvel. I thought that was so cool.
Oh, such a good callback too. Oh my God, dude, I've totally forgot that he did that part. I knew he was in the movie obviously, but I forgot that he was reading this script because Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel, excuse me, takes place at the same. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
so when we actually asked Brian and Jeff that when we first met them in Utah, how did it feel to know that your characters exist in the MCU? That's so cool. Because Mallrats. Brian O'Halloran was in Mallrats, but if Mallrats exist, there's callbacks to Clerks, which means Jeff exists. But yeah, and that was actually a bonus trivia question, which is how I won Marvel trivia at Deadwords that one day because I bet it all
right
on the bonus question, and that was
got it right.
Question.
Oh man,
it's going to be the bonus question too. I was like, I bet it's going to be Captain Marvel.
She got the answers ahead of time. Look at that.
I don't know. It came to me.
Well,
my Jedi mind or my spider sense.
This movie is actually considered a flop. So Kevin Smith did Clerks, which was a hit. This movie was a flop. The budget was $6.1 million, and it only grossed $2.1 million. $400,000 on its Friday opening on 800 screens, $1.2 million on its opening weekend, and then only $2,122,500 $561. So
it had Brenda
I
Walsh.
don't understand how this movie is a flop, because I like this movie more than Clerks. I'll say it. I love Clerks. I personally think Mallrats was a superior film for various other reasons. This movie's fun. If this movie came out today, people would have fun with it, I think.
I think I've always enjoyed Mallrats more, but like having gone back and watched Clerks older, I feel like Clerks is more clever. I think Mallrats is more fun, but like some of the jokes and stuff in Clerks is just like
37 in a row.
Right. Like who comes up with this? Like it was
but there was some really
brilliantly dark
and
dick and fart joke funny.
Nothing is better than Dogma by Kevin. In my opinion, Dogma is the superior Kevin Smith film of them all. It's not Tusk.
Dogma is also, though, I feel like his first movie that was just, I mean, it's riddled with stars.
I mean, it is.
Alan Rickman, Chris Rock, like I heard, I don't know if this is true. Oh my gosh. Oh, I should have said, oh my God, because that would have made sense. Well, and was it Selma Hayek? Like,
yeah, that's right. She was. Yes.
But I don't know if this is true. We do need to do a proper episode on Dogma at some point. And
we will. Well, it's coming back to theaters in June, I believe, because he has the rights back. So we will do a proper one. Yes. He's going to take on the road. You're going to Orlando with Jess. You son of a bitch. Jess.
We are. But I believe that Kevin Smith was always very strict on stick to the script. And then when you cast Chris Rock, I guess it was a little
Chris
harder.
Rock's not going to go.
Oh, yeah. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. You probably said them when I was saying people.
No, I didn't say them, but you're right. So diving into the plot here, spoilers.
Matt plays Loki, who plays Loki later. Okay.
Yes. If you've never seen Mallrats and you're here, I'm sorry, but it's also 30 years old. So
you can rent it on Amazon right now. I actually did a free trial of Philo. And I watched it, and then I immediately canceled it because Philo's like $20 a month.
What the hell was Philo?
I don't know.
I can't keep up, man. Oh my God. The good old days of going to Blockbuster are gone. So TS is ready to propose to his girlfriend, Brandy, played by Shannon Doherty. In Florida. Wait, Brandy's not it's yes, no, sorry.
Shannon Doherty is dating Jason Lee's character.
Yes,
Brody.
I'm sorry. Yes. Actually,
I don't know what
Kevin Smith's girlfriend at the time, who is God bless Joey Lauren Adams.
That's not Joey Lauren Adams either.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Sure? I will bet my oldest on it. I'll bet all three of my kids on it.
Oh my gosh. Who invited me to this? Because Claire Forlani is Brandy. Jesus.
Yes, I didn't know her name.
Yes, I am terribly sorry.
It's okay. Yes. She's a fine girl.
She is. Okay, sorry. That's because, yes, Claire Forlani plays Brandy. I will get my character straight. I promise you. Geez, Louise. Brandy is the one.
Not Louise, it's Brandy.
No, Joey Lauren Adams was the one that was underage, and Ben Affleck kept going after.
No?
Which
Joey Lauren Adams is the one who's getting dressed, and Kevin Smith or Silent Bob keeps crashing into the dressing room.
Oh my God. She wasn't. Oh, the underage girl is the goth girl. I'm sorry.
Well, she's in like a school uniform.
Yes. I'm sorry. You're right. All right. Joey Lauren Adams is Gwen. I'm sorry. Renee Humphrey, I believe, is who I'm talking about. I think she played Trisha. That might be her. Trish Jones
is the one who's doing the sex stuff. The underage girl.
Yes. That's the one. Anyways, good, sweet baby Jesus.
Stick to the notes.
Anyways, this is why I read the prompter. Now, he's planning on proposing to Brandy in Florida at Universal as soon as Jaws pops out.
Aww.
But instead, he learns after telling somebody that the camera adds 10 pounds, said person did so many laps at the pool until an embolism explodes and she dies. Well, she was supposed to be in college dating show for TS's girlfriend's dad. So the girlfriend has to stand in. Brandy goes in suitor number 1, suitor number 2, suitor number 3. They fight and break up. Meanwhile, Brody gets dumped by his girlfriend for essentially being a slacker, burnout, not going anywhere. That one is Shannon Doherty. So the two newly dumped guys head to the mall because the mall used to be a place where people would hang out at, believe it or not. Yes. The dating show is getting set up. Jay and Silent Bob try to stop it. Shannon, a D-bag, beats up Brody.
That's Ben Affleck.
Yes. He tells Jay and Silent Bob it was actually the Easter Bunny. So they beat up the Easter Bunny, much like Lauren tried to do at GalaxyCon
I
Richmond.
didn't try to do it. I was just like, if you're celebrating Easter, this might be a fun thing to do.
Yes.
But Brian O'Halloran said, do not beat up
don't
Easter
do it.
bunnies. So we're not doing that.
I love Brian so much, man. I love him. So Brody and his girlfriend have sex in an elevator. However, they stay broken up. Stan Lee is at a comic book shop and Brody cannot get his comics. So then Brody teaches TS the stink palm with chocolate covered pretzels. Ugh. At the request of TS, Stan Lee gives a very lovely superhero love speech to Brody. This is when TS and Brody join the dating show alongside Gil Hicks, who is Brian O'Halloran, our friend. And TS proposes to Brandy. She says yes, as Brody professes his love to Renee. Silent Bob uses the Force to get the videotape, a very inappropriate videotape at that. One that is of a butt man with a 15-year-old, which is the hot
man being Ben Affleck.
And Trisha being our 15-year-old. We end with a very 90s ending of where they end up. TS and Brandy got married. Rest in peace to the Jaws ride. Aww. I did get to do the cool Universal Hollywood Jaws thing. That was fun. Brody gets to host the Tonight Show with Renee as band leader. Wilhelm eventually saw the sail. It's not a sailboat, it's a schooner. A schooner is a sailboat, idiot. No, that's what I'm saying. He has the kid. You idiot. It's not a sailboat, it's a schooner. And the kid's like, a sailboat is a schooner, you idiot. Buster Bunnies and Ray. Oh, great. And then we end with Jay and Silent Bob with Suzanne, who later meet in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back 6 years later. This is a tale.
I forgot that was an
I forgot as well. I did too. And this is a movie all about being young, dumb, in love, and at a mall, which if you are in Massachusetts, the Burlington Mall is about the only mall that I've ever seen that's still hot. That place is
there's a lot of hot malls still in Orlando. The outlet malls are always slammed. Millennium malls always slammed. Florida malls always slammed. But then when you go to the regular malls, they're not. Oviedo Mall's like trying to be like, they have like a gym and a place where kids can play, and their brewery just closed, but they have a movie theater and like a paint and drink kind of thing. So, but I think in Orlando, over near Tourist Town, because like Florida Mall has American Girl store and the M&M store, but like you're not seeing local high school kids hang out there.
No high school kid hangs out the mall anymore. We used to get dropped off by my friend Matt. His mom would take us. We would find rides to the mall. We would hang out, be degenerates, meet up with girls in some cases. Josh at the mall. Yeah, I'm saying
shopping at Abercrombie.
See, we would go to Newbury Comics.
He liked girls who wore Abercrombie and Fitch.
Did your mall? Okay, that's the lunch date from Invasive Species. I had that one. It's wicked good. I love that can too.
So yes, I picked this one because it's a dating show, and we never learned if that guy finished or not.
Oh my god. So I love that Brody was, he's on the plane and they think they're going to crash. So he just pulls it out and he just starts jacking it. And all of a sudden the plane stabilizes. And I love Brian's character. He goes, well, did he finish or what? Jesus Christ, man. There's just some things you don't talk about.
After he just told that whole story.
Oh my, it's so, this movie is, I love it. I love it.
Even the opener is so 90s.
It is. And, Michael Rooker plays Brandy's dad. He's the guy in charge. He doesn't like TS,
I looked at him. He was like 40, because I'm like, he's not old enough to have a high schooler, and he's like 41.
He does look old, but not old, if that makes sense.
Well, you think like this movie's 30 years old, and you look at him today.
So it's like he's like 70 today? Really?
Hold on, let me look it up. I looked it up before. I'm never 41 and I have a college age kid.
Fair. I mean, but yeah, I went to Newbury Comics all the time. That would, my mall had a comic book shop, which is Newbury Comics. It's still there. He's 70. Wow.
So he was 40 when this movie came out, actually. But he had, they were in college. So I mean,
they were graduating high school and they were going into college at that point.
Right. So he had a kid at 21, 22. So that's not crazy. But it's just so funny because I'm looking at him in this, and it's like I knew him. I didn't realize that was him when I knew him as Merle.
Well, obviously growing up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that. That's right. He was in The Walking Dead. Yes.
So knowing him as Merle, and then it was like, oh, shit, I didn't realize that was the guy from Mallrats. And then obviously Yondu. So he still looks Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe the older I
He
get, the
hasn't
harder it is to
aged very much.
tell.
I don't know. That's what
He
I'm
really
saying. Like, I don't
hasn't.
feel like he's
Yeah.
aged too much
Maybe
in
it's
some
because he's
regards.
Mary Poppins, and Mary Poppins is a
I'm Mary
Time Lord.
Poppins, y'all. Well, I mean, he even has good moments in this film too. The grossest, obviously, is the stink palm with the pretzels, where oh
He's going to
god,
town on those pretzels a little too hard.
he really it was a little bag of pretzels, and they were chocolate covered, and they're melted, and
And he's
he's
like
licking his
licking
fingers,
his
and
finger, yeah.
oh
And then he's
god, it was
puking into
so
the same
gross.
bag.
Yeah, yeah, that tiny bag holding his puke. No, there's no way, dude. Not a chance. Oh god. And what were some of your favorite moments of this film?
It's so hard because it's like what I remember the first time I watched it, which was
Yeah,
25 years ago, versus rewatching it because I've rewatched it so many
now
times.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's one of those movies that it's almost a comfort movie to me. I wish I owned.
Yeah, yeah. The only one I own is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, I have that one on DVD, double DVD because I have the extras too. So this movie definitely makes me feel nostalgic in many ways, like the
Yeah.
flannel around the waist, the baby doll
Oh
shirt.
yes.
Like looking at some of the outfits, I'm like, this is stuff I wore. They're older than me, but they're not that much older than me. Like I was still
Yeah.
in high school in the 90s. Using the R word. Oh my gosh. We used
Oh,
that a
that did
lot
not
when we were
age
kids,
well.
but it was standard usage back then.
Well, okay, so this is where I guess we're going to get canceled because the R word and then the F word, that's 3 letters for gay people, was a big thing in Boston, but it never meant you were slurring gay people. It's was just something you called people when you're mad at them. And so seeing some of those things back then and how they use those words and then now, it's like, oh God, that
Well, we
does not.
realized why that was a bad comparison, and I think that's growth. I don't think that's getting canceled.
Oh,
But yeah, we used to
well,
say, "Oh,
right.
you're
We
so
grew up.
effing gay." Like that was like a common
Oh yeah,
phrase in the
everything was
90s.
gay back then.
And
Yeah.
that was calling something stupid. I mean, I grew up in South Florida. I didn't know that being gay was like frowned upon by so many people until I was older because
Right.
nobody gave a crap. And like my
You're
gay friends
right.
would say
Nobody
it.
really did care. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't until I was older and I was actually in law school, and it was a law school that attracted people from all over the country, some of them international. And it was a class about sexual identity and sexual orientation and in the law and all this stuff and gender studies and whatnot. It's a really great class, small class,
Yeah.
very much so one of those classes where you get to interact and discuss, which was always my favorite kind of, class, because I feel like that's really when you learn the most, when you're listening to other people's experiences and comparing it to the law and understanding things.
Right.
To where I heard stories from gay people who did not grow up in South Florida, and I was shocked. I had no idea. Obviously,
Right.
now I'm very much so aware, but it was like it makes you rethink. Like I don't even like using the B word, saying bitch, because it's such a derogatory term focused on women. And
Fair. Yeah. I guess I never really thought about it that way. But anyways.
So, yeah, Shannon Doherty saying, calls him a retard, and I was like, oh, that didn't age well.
Yeah. And then I mean, I
But
guess
she
the
didn't
only
do
thing
wrong
that
in that
aged
moment. The script didn't do anything wrong in the moment.
I wonder if Ben Affleck's character went on to become a politician since he was into 15-year-olds. That's probably about the only thing that aged.
Didn't he go to jail? He went
He
to
did.
jail.
He got arrested
And then
at the end. He did.
because he kept saying he wanted to do stuff to that girl in an uncomfortable position, like the back of a Volkswagen. And obviously that's not what he meant. So when he got arrested, they're like, oh, have fun. I heard guys in jail like to do it in an uncomfortable spot.
Oh my God. It was, but I also, Jay and Silent Bob, this was kind of your real first introduction into them, and Silent Bob was
No,
I mean, I would say first. Well, this was mine because obviously I watched this movie first and I loved it. They would talk about Star Wars, and then there was the whole use the Force, and that's when the videotape got bumped. And Jay is like, oh, whoa. And fun fact, this was since it was the second movie. I know this is in our fun facts, despite Jason Mewes having played Jay in Clerks. He actually had to audition because the studio didn't want him. Universal didn't want him. Yeah. They wanted Seth Green instead. However, Kevin fought for him. His audition obviously went well because he was Jay Mewes. Like,
right. The character's literally based off of him.
But the studio
play a better Jason Mewes than Jason Mewes.
That's what's always silly to me is the auditioning, and it's just ridiculous. But the studio is not going to pay for his airfare or hotel, which is also funny in its own right. But while shopping, Renee Mosier, who is Shannon Doherty, is seen wearing at least 3 different outfits. Doherty had a clause in her contract at the time that stated she could keep everything her character wore. So she came up with a plan that her character would wear everything that she bought.
Just a genius.
Personally, I think that's hilarious.
Absolute
that is
genius.
Amazing. Yes, I think it's genius as well. What other fun facts do we have?
Stan Lee is in Captain Marvel. We already talked about that.
Yes.
So obviously this universe exists in the MCU. So while filming exteriors of the mall, production assistants would actually stick paper over some of the New Jersey license plates because they weren't in Jersey. However, occasionally, because they were in Minnesota, these mall customers with their Minnesota license plates would drive away with the paper still attached to the license plate.
Oh my God.
So if you've seen the movie, just under an hour, you actually see TS like pick up a hat and he tries it on, and it's the Clerk's hat. So it's a cute little intentional nod. Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, there's a few nods. I know we've done a couple Kevin Smith episodes.
We've done some Kevin Smith episodes, yeah, but we never deep dove into specific films. It's always been like overarching in its own right.
So we may need to do some of the mappage.
We missed. This is also Clerk's 30th. No, last year was the Clerk's 30th. We missed that one. Stupid idiots.
94.
We're doing Dogma in June.
No, didn't we do Clerks?
I think we did, but we're doing Dogma in June.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did Clerks. I remember rewatching it, or maybe I just rewatched it after you talked. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways,
Gil Hicks is actually the cousin of Dante Hicks, who's from Clerks. He's also a reporter named Grant Hicks in other Kevin Smith movies. And if you love all these different versions of Brian O'Halloran, there's actually a comic book called Quick Stops. And one of the issues, they actually go to a Hicks family reunion, and you get to meet all the Hicks. And it's funny and adorable.
Those are good ones, and Ben Affleck, this is early on in his career, actually. Kevin and Ben were good friends for a while, but the rumor is that Jennifer Garner didn't like Kevin for his immaturity, so that's why they didn't talk for a period of time.
I don't know. She seems pretty chill.
There might be some truth to that, but he did come back in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, so we'll see. I don't know. Anyways, Ben Affleck did not love the idea of being another Dick after being one in Dazed and Confused. He was actually worried he would get typecasted as a Dick. Well, this movie instead predicted him becoming Batman with a comic book cover of him as Buttman, funny enough. And he did become Batman, so
and when he farts, it says Martha.
Oh, God. In the original version of the film, T.S. accidentally shot the governor of New Jersey at a function hosted by Mr. Svenning, which helped explain Brandy's father's hatred of T.S. throughout the film, because that was a cartoon in between. There was a cartoon, I believe, that went into all of this. I have it on Plex, actually, funny enough.
I've watched some of them, but it was like a million years ago.
Yeah, it really was. Preview audiences actually didn't love this, so it was taken out. However, the governor's ball is still mentioned. It's also because there was 30 minutes of extended cuts that were added into this film, and there's a lot of different stuff that the audiences didn't like that they took out.
But they do. So I had read that fun fact, and then when I was rewatching the movie, like there's a scene where they're like talking to Yondu, and they're like, "This better not end up like the governor's ball." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, so in the extended cut, the alternate opening scene is when the governor's ball happens. Now, the governor of New Jersey is played by Elizabeth Ashley. In the scene, T.S. is dressed as a colonial musketeer. He accidentally gets his musket tangled up in Brandy's hair, accidentally shoots the governor on the roof of a school, which ends up costing Mr. Svenning his reputation as well as a big pay raise. This explains the reason why Svenning shows an intense dislike for T.S. and why Brandy is so intent on breaking up with him. The scene also makes no mention of Julie Dwyer's death as the theatrical cut did. That cut subplot was referenced in the final cut of the movie, where the TV execs mentioned to Svenning that they do not want a repeat of the governor's ball. Now, some other things where multiple lines throughout the movie are restored related to T.S.'s attempt assassination on the governor. Many of these have wildly different reasons for having T.S. on the news, such as Shannon's claim that he had tried to kidnap the president's daughter. Now, an extended sequence at Brody's house where T.S. is hounded by the media as a result of his action at the governor's ball, including several TV movie offers. There were scenes where T.S. makes it known to Brandy he proposed to marry her. Brody and TS arrive outside of the Svenning's home so TS can try and reconcile. During the confusion, thanks to a news crew chasing TS, then interviewing Brody, who implies that Mr. Svenning and Brandy take part in a satanic ritual, the news records footage of Svenning doing martial arts in a bath towel. And so some of that footage, some of the footage was re-edited into the theatrical release, funny enough. There was a
movies is Die Hard 2 where he's naked doing like splits on the
chair. Yes. There was actually a shot that shows the quick stop from Clerks. There was a subplot of Brody showing intentions of wanting to be on TV, which explains his surprised look during his appearance on Truth or Date. There's a scene with Miss Ivana where she has several restored lines. There is an arrest scene in which LaForge wanted to put Brody and TS into jail for an extended period of time rather than overnight.
I'm bored.
There's a fight scene between Brody and Shannon Hamilton in which Hamilton tells Brody to forget Renee. There's a rant from Mr. Svenning, which is a result of TS letting it slip that he intended to propose. The scene where Svenning meets with Brody before he has both Brody and TS removed has several restored lines, ends with a more finger and hand licking of the melty pretzels after the boys are removed. Gross. And then a scene after Truth or Date in which Mr. Svenning attempts to demand to have TS and Brody arrested. Instead, he is the one who's arrested. It turns out that since Svenning was the producer of the show, he now faces multiple FCC fines for Brody's antics. And two more. Where Are They Now? Ending sequence in which Mr. Svenning is shown at his job at the network as a janitor, along with his production assistant still wearing the headset. And Shannon Hamilton is shown screaming after his RAPE in prison. A scene that showed
there you go. See, he did go to prison.
He did. Trisha's flirting and having sex with LaForge in order to distract him from catching Jay and Silent Bob. This explains the final segment in the Where Are They Now ending sequence, showing LaForge kissing Trisha during the book signing. So that was all a lot of the stuff that was reworked.
So going back to Julie Dwyer, though, what they ended up doing, obviously, was the dad was mad. I didn't even think it needed an explanation. A dad being mad at the daughter's boyfriend. You can just be mad just because
you can always be mad.
Whatever to your daughter. Yeah. Not saying that's reasonably fair, but it's understandably.
I mean, how many of those stupid Southern people are like, oh, I got the gun when my daughter's boyfriend comes over.
There's a whole song. I'm just cleaning this gun. But hey, nobody's going to get hurt. So Julie Dwyer, so they made it so Julie Dwyer was going to be on Truth or Date. She ended up having to do all the laps. She didn't have to, but because TS said, the camera adds 10 pounds and she died. And that's why he's mad, because he ruined the show and now the daughter has to stay and do the show. However, this is not the first mention of Julie Dwyer in the Askew universe. She was mentioned in Clerks. So Dante and Randall talk about how Julie Dwyer died in a pool at the Y. And then they actually filmed her funeral scene in the cartoon.
Yeah.
And that's where Randall, I do remember watching that. I believe Randall knocks over the casket or something and they have to run out of there.
Oh God, he does. Yeah.
But they leave. So Clerks basically takes place it's got to be simultaneously with Mallrats then, because I'm pretty sure in the cartoon they leave during a shift.
They do.
It doesn't have to be that day.
Kind of at once, yes.
Yeah. So, and then she does get a shout out in Clerks 2, and she does get a shout out in Chasing Amy.
Yeah, which is, oh man, that's always fun.
Which is why these movies are so fun. All these just little.
Well, I love the connections. Yeah.
And sometimes a character plays a different person, and sometimes they play the same person, and sometimes they play a relative.
Did you know that when Jason Lee got the role of Brody Bruce, which is a nod to Jaws, Chief Brody, by the way, they are doing 50th anniversary stuff all summer long at Martha's Vineyard for Jaws. Charlie told me because him and his wife Stephanie are going to be doing stuff, and I think they invited us. I don't know if we're going to get to do that.
I actually wrote an article for it for Attractions Magazine.
Well, look at you. Are we going to go to Martha's Vineyard?
And I thought that was really cool. I would love to. That would be amazing to go to Martha's Vineyard to see some Jaws. And they're doing, some places are doing Jaws previews in the water. I want to see Jaws in the water. That would be so cool. Here's your Tim Stanley cameo. We haven't had one in a while. Tim doesn't like sharks because of Jaws.
Tim, you're a stereotype. Anyways, did you know that anyways, back to my Jason Lee fun fact. He was actually known for skateboarding and not acting.
I know, that's so crazy.
Crazy.
Now look at his first movie role. He's making out with Brenda Walsh.
I know. Well, what about Walter Flanagan? Who was Walter Flanagan?
Oh my gosh. Walter Flanagan played Fanboy. He purchased a tiny puppy during filming, named it Brody. This is in real life. And he actually let the dog run around the closed mall and into the empty parking lot.
So cool.
Again, real dog actually on set. The dog ran so fast that they said it looked like a hockey puck. And Jay actually makes a comment, man, he was running, quote, faster than Walt Flanagan's dog, end quote. And that's where that quote came from.
Oh, okay.
That's so, I love that they do that. That's so fun. If I ever write movies or comic books, which I never will do, I'm going to add my own personal
dreams. Stuff. I'm going to add mine
It's not even a dream. It's not a talent I have, so it's not a dream.
Well,
my dream is that somebody I know who can write well will make me one of their inside jokes. Well, that doesn't sound good. And I'm part of the inside joke. I don't want to be the butt of the inside joke.
Well, Jason Lee saw Clerks in the theater. He did Mallrats as his first memory. When asked what he thinks of when someone says Mallrats, he says nostalgia and happy memories. He said working with Stanley was amazing and everybody was starstruck. And then the studio wanted Mallrats to be a smart Porky's. No, sorry. Porky's. I don't like Porky's. That shit trash.
I've never actually watched Porky's, but I watched a few interviews with the people and how they were describing
like this.
I gotta go watch Porky's.
Don't.
So how funny though was it when TS is like, "Hey, we got to go to the airport. Our flight leaves in an hour." What's that like?
Oh, to be fair, we got to the Fort Lauderdale airport and changed our flight from a later flight to an earlier flight, and we were about an hour and a half. Granted, it got
that's a rarity. He was at her house, saying, "Where's your luggage? Our flight leaves in an hour."
Oh, well.
And their tickets are not on their phone.
They had to get real tickets.
They printed their tickets. Right.
The Richmond airport, you could basically show up an hour before too.
What I will say though is they probably did not lose money on Universal because they probably were planning to buy the tickets when they got there.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, no, without a doubt. Which is another crazy. There was no TSA at that point either, which is also crazy to me.
So there's a couple other things I want to mention before we wrap things up.
Yes.
One, I loved that when did I mention this before? When Jay's doing his old berserker rage, he's like, "Should I call you Logan?"
You mentioned that in the before we started recording.
Okay. So, because of my shirt. So since then, though, Jason Mewes has actually had a daughter and named her Logan. So
and you have a son named Logan, which we told him in Salt Lake City.
I know, but I didn't. I
could not care less, though. At least Brian loves us.
But yeah, I also love the conversation that Brody was having with TS about Lois being able to carry Clark's baby, and that Brody was adamant that she would not be able to because a single load would kill her. And one of the reasons I think that's so funny, other than the absolute ridiculousness of it, is also like how much that could actually be fact and how much they have actually explored that in things since.
No, but legit.
But the most unrealistic thing about Smallville was the fact that like Tom Welling was like a 20-year-old virgin, but it was because he was scared to have sex. Like he ended up sleeping with Lana when Lana had that bout of like having superpowers, because that was that could have been a great Superman Day article for today with Superman Day out. Okay. But then we also, we have Superman and Lois now, where like, yes, she was able to carry them, but the kids didn't get powers until later.
He's just a normal guy at the end of the day.
But they had to go to the Fortress of Solitude when she was pregnant. So you had things happen.
All right.
My last comment is when the 15-year-old Trish says, "Girls want romance, not Mr. Toad's Wild Ride," and Brody says, "Everyone wants Mr. Toad's Wild Ride."
No, nobody does. Just like nobody wants freaking It's a Small World.
Everybody wants Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's an amazing ride, and we don't have it in Disney World anymore. It's only in Disneyland.
Well, guess what?
That ride is next level.
Disneyland's only better because they have a vendor's
campus. You get sentenced by a judge, and you go to hell, and there's a bar inside that ride. Not one you can access. No. I agree with Brody. I thought everybody wanted Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I would rather Josh take me to Disneyland to go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That would be romantic.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
We'd be on the same page there. Our Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is Winnie the Pooh.
You thought I would be on board
everybody
with
liked
your
Mr.
romantic
Toad's Wild Ride. Yeah.
adventure to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
I mean, that's way better than or that is romance. If he took me to Disneyland, he's like, if he said tomorrow, like, "Hey, we're going to Disneyland, just you and I we're
I
going
don't
to
even
Mr.
want to go to
Toad's
the
Wild
parks
Ride."
anymore. I just want
I
to go
would
to
think he was
freaking
speaking
Disney
in
cruise now.
euphemisms, but if he was being serious, that's fair. That is completely fair.
Listen, okay, I can get it. I can get behind that, I guess. My idea of a romantic time was take me on another Disney cruise so I can watch Hercules on the Destiny.
Hercules.
I'm obsessed. I have a fixation, and it is that. But nonetheless,
one last thing, what I got, which I didn't get past times when I watched it, they said there's a weakness in the stage like the Death Star.
They did. I love, again, Kevin Smith.
I went from being Cass DL to Captain America. I understood that reference.
I'm proud of you because years ago you would not have gotten Star Wars, which reminds me, Star Wars month is coming up. On Monday, we are in fact dropping our Daredevil Born Again Season 1 wrap up with Andrew Hewitt, who is a mental health professional. We talk about some of that aspect, and then we go into our thoughts on Daredevil. Wednesday, Tyrell Cannon joins the show once more. And then the following week, man, Thunderbolts. And then we go into Star Wars month. Speaking of Star Wars, that's what I was building up to.
I know.
And yeah, dude, lots
Thunderbolts
of
and lightning. Lightning leads to space.
Very, very frightening.
Galileo.
Palpatine.
We should do a Wayne's World episode.
Oh, we should. I haven't seen Wayne's World in a hot minute either. We will have to do that on the 27th. We are doing a Patreon movie night with the Beaster Bunny, I think it's called. Yes, B-rated movies. I'm so in the bag for this stuff, man. I cannot wait. Make sure though.
It's not Steamboat Willie, Screamboat Willie.
Well, I haven't been able to find that one out there yet. It was in theaters because I still need to hit up the cast and crew and try to get David Thornton Howard on the show. But make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, share, follow to all of Hops Geek News content. That's where you can find us. Lauren and I are going to be here. We're back. We got Star Wars month, which is one of our favorite months to come up. She said I can pick anything for the final Star Wars month topic. So if you got any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, we're just going to talk about how hot Padme is in Attack of the Clones and how that was my second sexual
awakening. Where the heart is then?
Huh?
She's in Where the Heart Is. She's really cute in that.
No one cares. Black Swan? Hey?
Oh.
Anyways, this will go down perfect for Mallrats. But check out.
Dean watched Black Swan.
I bet he did.
We need to do a Supernatural episode soon.
We do. We are going to be getting back on our Supernatural train. I'm sorry. We've just had so much going on between vacations and a lot of Marvel DC content coming out. So we will get back on our Supernatural train. Do not fear, because I know a lot of people probably came here from MegaCon from our Supernatural panels. So I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't ask to be born. It's my fault.
Nobody asked to be born.
Me. Nobody asked to be born here. But yes, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you guys next week. Snoogans.